So with that motivating example, let's now switch gears and um start thinking about these caches more technically. Um, so we have seen that a cache is basically a extremely fast piece of memory that sits between the CPU and the RAM. And as long as the CPU can find the data it is looking for in this fast cache, it will not have to access the slower RAM. So to make best use of these caches, it is important that we place those data items and those instructions in the cache which are most likely to be referenced by the CPU, right? So, so how do we know what is the instruction and data items that the CPU would most likely reference? So if you think about this, let's say we have a program, right? Let's say this is our program, and let's say this has several lines of code, right? So let's say this is line 0, 1, and so on up to n minus 1. There are n lines. Let's say I don't give you any information about how this program is executing, what is the program logic, and so forth. Without having any information, what is the probability that this ith instruction would be executing next? So based on random probability, given no information, the probability that this ith instruction would execute next is 1 by n. However, fortunately, our programs don't really execute randomly. We all know that for most part, our programs tend to execute sequentially. Also, during execution, they tend to access and re-access the same memory addresses again and again. Okay, so because of this, essentially it turns out that our programs during execution, they exhibit two important properties. They exhibit spatial locality and temporal locality. And because of these regularities and these properties, the caches tend to be extremely effective in our computer systems. Okay, so let's understand what are these localities and what are these properties.